it can kind of be discouraging because you're like, oh, they're not right, and they're not right, and they're not right. But at the same time, you're being bombarded with all these images. So it feels like there's a lot of dogs that just kind of skews your perspective. Welcome to episode 22 of the Pawdoption Guide podcast. I'm your host, Bethany Muir, and this is your one-stop shop for the knowledge and advice you need to adopt and integrate the rescue dog of your dreams. If you've followed me for much time, you'll know that I believe there's an art to finding the best rescue dog for you. Sure, sometimes things just fall into your lap, but otherwise, it takes some straight up dedication to find that perfect match. And I've found that a lot of people who will say they're looking for a rescue dog are really just searching casually on Facebook and Instagram, and they'll occasionally check Pet Finder. To me, this is the best way to get frustrated and prolong your search for that perfect rescue dog. So today I'm going to shine some light on why this approach is not setting you up for success, and a few ways I'm going to encourage you to search like it's your job. And to me, that means frequently, consistently, and thoroughly. FYI, this is not about working harder, it's just about working smarter. Let's capitalize on the effort you're putting into finding a compatible rescue dog. So, here are the 3 reasons why social media could be cramping your rescue dog search. Number 1 is the algorithm. So all social media, Instagram, Facebook, it has an algorithm that determines what you get to see. And if you're seeing a particular post on your feed, it likely means that this post is quite popular and it has a lot of engagement. The likes, shares, comments are a really good indication of that. So sometimes you'll see like 500 likes or 50 shares or 100 shares. Like that's a lot of people that post is reaching. And so when you see an available rescue dog show up on your feed, it's likely that dog has received a decent amount of interest. And if you choose to apply, you'll likely be applying for a dog that's going to get a lot of applications. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean it's not worth applying for. It just means you're entering a much bigger pot, so there will be a good likelihood that someone else will outshine you. There's just so many people. So I have a scenario with an old client of mine where I had found them some dogs, but I didn't find them through social media. It was through the site. But when I went to kind of check out more information about the dog's profiles, they said, oh, it's on Facebook. So I went and checked out the details, and basically it was a litter of puppies, and the mom was going to be up for adoption too, but also, all the puppies. And so there was, I think, 5 dogs available altogether. And I sent this to them, but I said, based on the interest on social media, it's really high. Like I could see there was hundreds and hundreds of likes and hundreds of comments and then lots of shares. And so I thought, this is going to have a lot of applications. And it was a dog that was, low shedding, and that can be quite popular as well. So I said to them, it will be like winning the lottery if you apply for this dog and you get it. But it's still worth trying. No matter what, it's always worth trying. This is just not maybe your ideal dog to apply for, given that they have so much interest. Well, they applied, and sure enough, they were selected as one of the adopters for one of the puppies. And when I got that call from them, I was just blown away. I mean, I was so happy that their application was so strong and that we had worked to do that. But at the same time, I was just like literally shocked. It was like they won the lottery. So to this day, they call him their lottery dog, and he's a fantastic dog, and that just all turned out great. But that's really not the average situation. And that algorithm and the fact that you're even seeing the post on your feed means that you're probably just making it harder for yourself by looking at those dogs, because those dogs are going to likely have more applications than the average dog. The second reason why social media could be cramping your rescue dog search is timing. Often, but not always, available dog profiles are first put up on the dog rescue's website or their pet finder profile. Because there have been really large numbers of applicants for dogs, many rescues will have to cut off applications at some point, just in order to spare themselves an impossible task of having to go through, hundreds of applications. So this very fact means that it's helpful to find the profile first on their website or on Pet Finder, because if the profile is there, you can almost always apply. There's only the occasional time where you'll see the profile and then it'll have like a sticker on top of it saying, no longer taking applications. But for the most part, if you see it, you can apply. Whereas by the time you see that profile on social media, you may follow through to their website or to wherever you put in your application and find that you can no longer apply because there have been too many applications. I'm sure you've seen those social media posts from rescues where they post a dog just to give you an update that they've had some intakes, but they immediately say that they've already received sufficient applications or they're no longer accepting applications. And that can certainly be disheartening for sure. It's a bit frustrating to get your hopes up, see a dog, you're like, oh, that might be a great one, and then start to read the profile and go, oh, they're not available. And there'll be lots of dogs like that rescues post, and they say, oh, this dog just went to its new home, and it basically was just a foster to adopt situation. The foster ended up taking it on. And you'll go, oh, why did I never see that dog though? Like, you never posted it. Well, that's just because the foster had first dibs on the dog in that scenario. But just seeing that come through on social media frustrates you because you're like, oh, I just missed it. But in that scenario, it just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, timing is actually crucial. And if we can go to where those dogs are first post and search frequently enough that we're seeing them as they're being put up, and that might not be every week. It might just be, your timing works out 1 every 3 weeks. That's still great because it just really increases your likelihood that you're going to see a dog before someone else and get your application in before any applications are cut off, or, get your foot in the door before someone else does. The third reason why social media could be cramping your rescue dog search is that it's discouraging. Like many things you do on social media, you can create this mental dialogue for you. And if you're doing a rescue dog search on there, just by, always checking out your feed specifically for dogs, then you're going to constantly be seeing dogs that are not filtered. So, unlike going to Pet Finder where you can filter out what doesn't serve you and what isn't going to suit your needs, you can't do that. So you're just going to see everything and anything. And it kind of overwhelms you and probably gives you this idea that there's a lot of dogs out there that need homes, but somehow they all don't suit you. Whereas that's not really the truth. It's just that you're looking at literally everything. You're not filtering things down at all. So it can kind of be discouraging because you're like, oh, they're not right, and they're not right, and they're not right. But at the same time, you're being bombarded with all these images. So it feels like there's a lot of dogs that just kind of skews your perspective and your thoughts about, well, like, how come I can't find a dog that's good for me? And usually that's just a patience thing, but social media has a way of making us all very impatient. And then the other thing that can happen is that you're just constantly seeing very popular dogs, those dogs with a lot of interest, as we've spoken about. And, again, just starts your mind going, and you start thinking, I really wanted that dog. I just saw that picture and I just got connected, and it just seemed like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. But then you see all the post likes and the shares and the comments, and you immediately think, well, why bother? There's hundreds of comments. There's no way I'm going to get this dog. That can be really discouraging. The ability to see the other interest that's going on and the dialogue that's happening, maybe lots of comments about that dog, and, oh, this would just be perfect for me and my dog at home, and all those things, it really allows you to cast doubt on your ability to adopt that dog, or, oh, well, that person already has a dog and they say that would be a perk if you had a dog already, so I probably just shouldn't apply. Well, it really never hurts to try if the dog's profile is compatible with you, no matter how many people have seen the post. Just as I said with that client and their dog Wonton, like, you should just apply because miracles happen. But many will just look at that response and just discount it altogether and go, oh, again, you're just left feeling discouraged, whether you're just seeing lots of dogs that don't suit you, or you're seeing a lot of dogs that are really popular and getting a lot of applications and interest. So impatience is your biggest enemy in your search for a great rescue dog. I can't drive that home enough. I went into my search for my dogs, both individually, and just knew that the goal was this, and this. And I was just going to search until I got to that. And there was nothing that could cloud that vision because I wanted to be fulfilled in the end. And I'd seen lots of people who adopt rescue dogs in the vet clinic, and just kind of let them fall into their laps, and they're just not as fulfilled. And that made me sad for them. I was like, just because you're getting a rescue dog doesn't mean you should just take whatever you can get. And I think some people have that perspective that it's just like, that'll do. It's a dog, right? Well, I think there's a lot of things that click. That's where you're really going to have that super strong bond that's going to stand the test of time, because again, you got to live with this dog for many, many years to come. So let's make sure you're happy about it and that you're both happy about it. So this is why I suggest your social media search for adoptable dogs be casual. I much prefer that if you're going to peruse your feed that, it's just kind of like, oh, whatever. I just happen to be on my social media, and why not just look and see what's here? But you want to put the time and effort in elsewhere while allowing Facebook and Instagram rescue dogs to just slip into your feed, okay? Your focus should be elsewhere. Don't expect to find that ideal dog on Facebook or Instagram. You need to put in a little bit more effort than that. So, when I was searching for clients, I would be looking at Pet Finder every other day. So doing like a thorough search on Pet Finder. But then on top of that, I have my Southern Ontario dog rescue spreadsheet that I would use. And it has over 70 dog rescues on it, all nicely categorized, and lots of little details about maybe quirks about the rescue, or what they specialize in, where their dogs often come from. Sometimes there are little requirements for adopters. So I'd have all those things, and I'd be able to just go through that list one by one. And it was taking me right to their site in order to look at their adoptable dogs. And that ended up being even better than Pet Finder. I would often just find so many dogs that weren't on Pet Finder that were available through this list. And that was gold, because Pet Finder, again, is also going to be more popularly used. And sometimes, again, with the way things filter, it can be a bit difficult, because if you're always going with the same filters, sometimes things just won't get categorized quite right for you. Like, some rescues are going to mark down for their dog that they are, they are kid friendly, they are cat friendly, they are dog friendly, and some aren't going to do the extra step of making sure to check those boxes. So sometimes you'll get dogs that are filtered out of the process, but it doesn't mean they're not kid-friendly, dog-friendly, cat-friendly, that sort of thing. So, it's not perfect, and just depending on how the rescue uses it could adjust how they're filtering. So in order to combat, the frustrations with trying to find a dog through social media, you should really find a decent amount, 10 rescues within a decent radius from you, whether that be a max of 3 hours or a max of 2 hours, you decide that. And then, just go to their website day in, day out. If you can do that, twice a week, just check their website twice a week and do, 10 rescues at that time. That's phenomenal. And you're going to find that you're likely to find dogs that have just been posted. And maybe, you can change up the time of day that you're doing that. But again, think about the fact that it's often rescue volunteers. They're not people who are necessarily free during the day because they work. So these people are putting in the hours after their work hours in order to put these dogs up on the site and everything. So, you might be well off to look in the evening or look right in the morning. Just think about those things and make it a consistent thing that you do a few times a week, and you're more likely to find dogs that are being a little less highly sought after, and to not deal with the frustration as much that social media will have for you. So, sure, you'll be going to the website and you'll need to click through the profiles and see the information, but in general, because you're actively doing something rather than just kind of scrolling mindlessly through a feed, you feel better about it in the end. You don't feel as disappointed as you do when you go through a whole feed, you see a ton of dogs and none of them apply to you. This way you're taking an active approach to finding your dream rescue dog. And I promise you, this is much more successful than just waiting for it to fall into your lap. If you're wondering where you can find my Southern Ontario dog rescue spreadsheet, it's within the Pawdoption Guide membership experience. That is the membership in which I serve people looking to adopt dogs. So you can be looking to adopt a dog or looking to integrate a dog. So maybe you just got a rescue dog and you really want some help with getting them to transition well into your home and make them into the well-mannered pet that you dreamed of. Come on over to the Pawdoption Guide membership experience. I can guarantee with our bi-weekly Q&A calls, as well as the community, that you'll find just what you need to support you in your efforts. Stop struggling and start thriving with your rescue dog today. Check out www.pawdoptionguide.com/PGME for more information. You can also find that link in the show notes. One last tip I'm going to give you before I leave today is that one way that you can use social media to your advantage with searching for rescue dogs is by going to the Dog Rescue's site, so their Facebook page, search for Dog Rescue Ontario or Dog Rescue wherever your location is, and search that in the Facebook search bar. then click on the following rescues, check them out. If they look like a great rescue, they have a good following, they've been around for a little while, and you kind of see that you agree with things they're posting in that. And then, make sure you like them, and that will help ensure that Facebook's going to put some of their stuff in your feed. But then click on the 3 dots near their name, and it says follow settings. And if you select that, then you can select whether they're your favorite, and a few other things about notifications from them. And literally, I just select favorite in order to make sure that Facebook knows it's top priority. I want to see their stuff in my feed. Then you're not just getting just the popular stuff from them. You're probably going to get everything that they post put within your feed. So, that's really up to Facebook. But for the most part, that's a better way of ensuring you're not just getting the most popular things or just whatever the algorithm sends your way, is by making sure you favorite those rescue organizations that you're following. So go ahead and do that to a whole bunch of nearby rescues or ones within, a decent radius. FYI, you can do the same thing with Instagram, and that's going to be hugely helpful in making sure you're not just seeing their popular posts. If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment and review it on your favorite podcast platform, or even just pass along some feedback by taking a screenshot and posting it on your Instagram or Facebook story while tagging @Pawdoption Guide. I'd love to hear what you're thinking of the episodes. If there's certain topics you want me to discuss, tell me about it. Don't forget to subscribe or follow this podcast if you want to get notified when episodes drop. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you, and look forward to chatting with you again next week.